Oh, hey, welcome back to Elder Scrolls Online. Um, Unfortunately, when I had made this video, I did not realize that, that my microphone wasn't turned on. So, I'm using the same video, but I'm actually making the edit as I roll into it. So, what was actually said is going to be a little bit different. So, but my screen is large enough for me to see what I'm looking at. So right now, I'm logging in, and I'm on my Magicka Sorcerer. So this is a 2-pet Magicka Sorcerer build, and my race is a high elf. I recommend it for this particular build. So as we progress in the video, I will chit chat what I'm actually doing. So right now, this is where I was talking about where I was gonna go. So right now I'm looking at Craglorn, and I'm finding the spot called Skyreach Catacombs. I know I always get lost in this place, but right there, so I pinned it on the map. I am using a Xbox wireless controller, but I am playing PC. This is PC version. I'm not really that good with keyboard and mouse, so just keep that in mind. This is how I play. So in any case, it looks like I arrived, and I did figure out the map a little bit that to reach Skyreach, you have to do like a V shape. So from the way shrine, you go down and then you go back up again, but on the opposite side of the map. And this is how you reach Skyreach. So during the video, you're gonna notice a few things.
Be my resolve. Stendarr be my shield, and Arcade light my way.
That's a little bit odd, but I will, since I'm now doing a voiceover, which I really wish the first time around when I did this, I actually recorded. So during the making of this video, the POS piece of you know what from ZeniMax's server it's causing a lot of high ping right now. As you can see in the bottom left hand corner, you see the red number. That's high ping. Sometimes it gets so high it looks like it's only running about 130 or so ping, but it's not. It's like 999, and I'm getting a lot of lag and disconnects during it. So anyway, I was just checking the mail going into this. It's like a group dungeon or delve. Well, I'm not really sure what to classify this place as. But as I enter, I was talking about something important right there, but I forgot what it was.
More guests, welcome. The others have already started their meal.
Alright, so here is where I am trying to pull as many of these things as I can, while I'm experiencing a lot of lag. So I think I was able to pull quite a big mob here, and as you can see, they are doing little to no damage to me. I am running a shield, so even when the shield drops, they do very little damage. But of course, this is a Magicka Sword build, so it's It does a lot of high output damage. So that that trash mob right over there kind of burned a little bit too quick for me to actually get an idea of what the capabilities of this particular build would be. So, that said, at this point, as I'm picking that lock over there, I decided that I was going to do something a little bit different. And this is where I realized that this was a skeletal pool that needs to be destroyed completely before I leave. Oh God, I am so tired right now. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning and this is a 2-hour long video. And this was really only supposed to be, you know, your basic build, you know. This so I can only record 7 minutes at a time, so that's messed up. I'm not sure if I want to do that today. Okay, which gives me an idea. I guess I could talk about the important things when they come up, so I can actually stop recording. But what I'm trying to do is something a little bit different. I'm not just showing you where I'm putting points, what gear I'm using, what enchantments. Okay, so at this point I was talking about when you run with a group, if the group leader has their dungeon difficulty on normal, once you leave that group it stays. So then when you want to get into something that's a little bit more difficult, you have to go back into that setting and rechange it. So that's what I did there. I changed it from normal to veteran because I always have mine on veteran. So Cold Harbor, this is where we're gonna find the Vaults of Madness. Now this one particular, I wanted to run this on veteran to have a no death run, especially on this build. So I'm showing you not only the build, the hows and whys, but I'm kind of like taking you on a test drive at the same time. So I'm not just showing you the car, I'm allowing you to kick the tires.
You doomed yourself by coming here. You know that, don't you?
Tearing your soul out never fails to amuse me, Basto. I'll return it to you, eventually.
Okay, so here I was saying something, but I forgot what it was because it's been a while. But this is where I'm actually going into the build. So on my back bar, this is I'm using Shock Reach. It deals 4.8 shock damage and additional 7.6 shock damage over 8 seconds, which is a dot. So anyone running Valken Scoria, you're gonna want as many skills on your bar that does damage over time, so you can proc your helmet, your two-piece monster set. So I was, I know it sounded so much better the first time around, but unfortunately, like I said, the microphone was off, and now I have to record over my own recording. So hopefully I can do it some justice, because I have no idea what I just did, really. So, or what I was even talking about while I was flipping back and forth between those two things. So here I am, I'm explaining my staff. So I'm using a Plague Doctor's Lightning Staff. It is infused and with a shock damage weapon enchantment glyph. Always keep it charged. Next. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm also running on the back bar another Plague Doctor's Lightning Staff. This too also is infused and shock damage enchantment glyph on it, which is very important for this particular build. For my headpiece, it is a medium piece headpiece from the Valken Scoria two-piece monster set. You can find this in City of Ash 2 on Veteran. The trait is infused, and I'm using Max Magicka enchantment on it to get a little bit more Magicka in my resource pool. I feel all heavy pieces, all large pieces should be infused, and all the smaller pieces should be divine. You know, now that I say that, I did not show what my Mundus Stone was, but I'm running what I'm running, but I'll figure it out. Maybe my next video. And anyway, I was explaining that the two-piece Valken Scoria set, it gives you max health, and then the second item, it does about 10k flame damage to the target, and about 4.8k flame damage to all other surrounding enemies around that target within 5 meters. Anything 5 meters close to your target, it's gonna burn a little bit for about 4.8k flame damage. The chest piece, it is a heavy piece. This helps you also sustain from damage. Plague Doctor's Curious, infused trait with a Max Magicka enchantment glyph. I showed a piece of Valken Scoria, obviously, but this is going to be a light piece, and I'm running infused with a Max Magicka ability. At some point, I might want to change infused to the trait of divine, because I think all 5 light pieces, all 5 small pieces should be divine. So the waist is going to be the Necropotent set. I'm running divine trait. Hands or gloves, they also is Necropotence with divine. The legs, these are the breeches of Necropotence. This is actually an infuse because it's a large piece. And last but not least, the feet, which the trait is divine. But on all of these pieces, I'm running a max Magicka enchantment glyph on all of them to have a lot of Magicka in my resource pool. Next from here, I should be going on to talk about my jewelry. So jewelry, I'm running the Plague Doctor necklace. I left it healthy, and I'm going to keep that one specifically healthy. But I'm also using a spell damage enchantment on it. And for the fifth and final piece of Plague Doctor, for the next part is that I'm running a ring when we get to it. When I get to it. Any second now, because I really don't know what I was talking about right there, but I'm sure it was important. So the Plague Doctor ring, I turned this one into infused because it gives an extra 278 spell damage. If it was arcane, it would be just your normal 176 spell damage, but changing it to infused gives an extra boost to your damage. So that's 5 pieces between the set. The last ring is the Ring of Necropotence, which completes a 5-piece of that set particular. I left that one as arcane, but again for the enchantment glyph I'm running spell damage. I may or may not change that. If I do change the trait from arcane, it will be infused to get a little bit more spell damage. But right now it is balancing out, so I don't think I need to change it at the moment. So it's really not on my priority list. Okay, so here I'm showing my attributes. So right now I'm running about 45,000 max Magicka, 30,000 health, and about 10,000 stamina. My spell damage is about 2,000. I think this is on my back bar. I'm not sure why it increases on my back bar as opposed to my front bar. So I'm gonna do I think right here I did weapon swap, so now on the front bar, and it's still a little bit over 2,000, but somewhere in the mix I lost 100 and I'm not sure why. So I'm gonna have to revisit that to find out why I'm getting a little bit more power on the back bar as opposed to the front bar. Maybe it's one of the skill lines. Okay, so all those pieces I was just flipping through, they were all light armor, so I'm going into the light armor passives and showing you specifically why I think this one is very important. So Grace, you need to open up all these passives, but especially Grace, because it says it reduces the effectiveness of snares applied to you by 4% per piece of light armor worn. So right now I'm at a current 20% bonus because I have 5 pieces. So 20% of snare reduction right there. So which ties in hand to hand at the end of the video when I'm showing the champion points allocation for break free. But this one also, it reduces cost of sprint by 3%, and I'm getting a 15% bonus by having all of these open up. So this is why I'm showing the light armor skill line, which is very important, especially with Grace, because you want to reduce the effectiveness of snares on you, and reduce cost of sprint if you need to run away a little bit, which on this build you only have like 9 or 10,000 stamina, so really every little bit helps. So evocation, I was going through that, so increase your magical recovery, so I have a 20% boost. Spell warding, increase your spell resistance. I have about 1.8k. The next one is Prodigy, and this increases your spell crit, so I'm getting about 2.1, so a little bit over 2,000 extra spell crit. And last but not least, Concentration, which increases your spell penetration, which I have almost 5,000. This is about 4,000, 4k, 4.8k spell penetration. So you're doing a lot of damage right there just running those. Yeah. Annulment. Yes, I was going on about that, but if you're running Hardened Ward, you can sometimes swap with Annulment if you want. You could definitely do that, but I mean, I don't personally use it, but if you have an extra skill point, open it up, because you never know what the next nerf is going to be with ZeniMax. So if they do something to Hardened Ward, then at least you'll have this as a backup, but I probably wouldn't really depend on that. Okay, so this is your Destruction Staff skill line. Open up all the passives. Tri-focus, definitely. Penetration magic, everything in there. Definitely open it up. You definitely increase your damage with those skills and its passives. Okay, so let's get ready to rock. Okay, so I just wanted to open up voice again and just bring to your attention that I have been getting hit by a lot of lag right there. And so what I'm doing personally in my rotation, it's not working as well as one would hope. So right now ZeniMax is running this PvP mid-year event, and unfortunately there's a whole lot of people using the server right now. It's based in Texas, and I'm actually in the Pacific Ocean, so I live in the Hawaiian Islands, So there is no Oceanic server. So had ZeniMax been smart about things, they would put, just like the WoW servers, they put a server in Hawaii. I'm not sure exactly what island, like Lanai or Maui or whatever, or Big Island, but had they put one out here, for those of us that are suffering when there's a lot of people using the server, we wouldn't have as all this lag and high ping, but during the event you suffer from a lot of it. But once the event is over and people, you know, like the massive amount of people that don't usually play stop playing because the event's done, then I should be able to play normally again without all this interruption. But as you can see, I'm trying to have a little bit of fun, just to destroy that thing right there, and unfortunately it's like I'm getting frozen in time. There's lag, there's high ping, so, and then as you can see, the top right, it says targets out of range. I can't even pick up whatever drop is in there because I'm waiting, literally waiting for the server to catch up to me. So, and there we are. So I finally got what I earned. Alright, so this next boss, this next little mini boss right here is called the Cursed One. So unfortunately he has his own like ultimate. He'll call out like something like feel my pain or one of your own or something like that, and then he will target you and try to electrify you with this magical beam. Magical beam will suck your life out of you, but it also replicates, duplicates any damage that you do to him or his ads. And so if I look around the room, those ads somewhere, am I going to be looking at them? Okay, the skeletal, what does that say? Torture? Sorry, I'm looking at a smaller screen right now while doing a voiceover because if you're now just tuning into the video, yeah, when I did the video originally, nothing recorded. So I have to be very careful here because I am attempting to do this as a no death run. So when he attacks me with that siphoning ability, I'm gonna stop attacking. So this is where I want to crush at least one of them to get them out of the way. Now I'm being attacked, so you have to stop attacking. And unfortunately my pets are still attacking, so I have to use a shield to keep myself from dying. So as soon as that blue beam goes away, like right now, I'll be able to go ahead and finish up here, clean up his ads, and he should be attacking me again right now. Alright. So this is where I'm going to unload on him. I'm going to dwindle out most of his life. Plus I'm getting hit with high ping and lag. And he's really pouring it on. This is really tough. But don't worry, I know how it ends. Alright, so I'm gonna attempt to burn him again a little bit while suffering from lag. course, a heavy attack was to charge up my magicka. Shield up. Heal. Shield up. And no. Go ahead and burn. There we go. That cleaned up really good. And that is a very difficult fight. Now keep in mind I'm in this dungeon on veteran. And so if you did not have a shield, you would definitely die. Now this bridge, the first time when I came in here, I did not notice that on the right here, that crack, there's 2 holes on both sides, and I fell in the DM hole on my first video. So just want to keep that in mind, that when you run across, to go through the middle. Oh, but right about now, this is where you're gonna love this, because when I start this boss battle up here, the ping gets so bad I actually disconnect from the game. So right about here is where I'm talking about the background over there. Do you see on the left hand side the gate right there with the 2 red glowing eyes? Well, there's a closed gate there and you can't get past it unless you burn down the Soul Reaver. Copyright. So once you destroy this boss, you'll be able to get past the gate, but otherwise if you don't, you can't skip this portion of the dungeon, so you have to do it in order to progress.
Your soul is mine.
Alright, so as I am attempting to burn the Soul Reaver, she will CC crowd control. She will CC you in this Soul Snare that lasts about 22 to 24 seconds, so it's really difficult to keep a steady rotation on her, especially in solo. But little did I know, right about here is where I start getting affected by lag and high ping. However, if you notice, my tactic is to keep her between myself and my pet. This way, my pet is taunting her, because the little scamply familiar is like your tank. So otherwise she would be hitting me right now. So this is where I'm getting affected by very high ping and lag. So bad that I actually get booted out of the game. You can see down below I'm trying to cast all these abilities, but nothing's working. The game is frozen, and I'm the only one that's moving right now, so... And in retrospect, I'm glad I'm doing a voiceover because my original voice acting in this was really horrible. I mean, I was livid. So this is ZeniMax's POS server, the only one for North America that's based in Texas, that's bombarded by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, PC players, during the mid-year event that's causing a lot of high ping and lag for someone like me that lives in the Pacific Ocean. So literally, when you live on an island and you're far away from the mainland, about 5 hours, or if you're California time, maybe 3 hours. But still, from the Polynesian Islands, Philippines, and the Hawaiian Islands, from there all the way to Texas is a very long way. Now, of course, we all know light travels 186,000 miles per second, but still, we don't know if they're using fiber optics or what, or if it's Wi-Fi. You know, it's still. I got logged out. I got crashed, and I'm trying to log back in, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God! At this point, are you serious? I thought I had to do that whole thing over again. But fortunately, it brought me back to the dungeon, but all the damage that I did to the boss right now, just then, all disappeared, because now when I get in there, one, I'm alive, which is good, and two, the boss has full health, which is bad. But let's do take 2. Kill the Soul Reaver. Alright, so this is where I'm gonna do my final burn phase and just get rid of her. And there we go. Burn one Soul Reaver. It is ridiculous that she gets to lock you in that soul snare for 24 seconds. So, I mean, if you were a Nightblade and you tried that, yeah, you would definitely die. Alright, so, this little trash mob, we're gonna, get past them to go through, that little door behind that big, fat, orc-like type Grundle thing, and, see, I'm getting bombarded by so much lag right now. It's like I'm getting hit more than I should be. So this is where I decided to go ahead and drop the ultimate just to get rid of a trash mob. What a waste. Oh, but you know what? I was having fun doing it. Alright, so this portion, I'm gonna skip this trash mob here. And then have no choice but to face this one. Interesting. Yes. Because I had no idea what I was talking about right there, but anyway, these little Baskin type creatures, the scamps. Look at them, they're all hitting me with this zapping me actually, and I can't even cast my shield, so I decide to dump an ultimate on them to make them go away. What a waste. What a waste of a perfectly good ultimate on trash mob. All because I'm getting hit by high ping in this area right now, and I can even cast a shield or bar swap at some point in time. So your next area boss here is a very large skeleton. So I decided to kill most of the ads first, and then work on the skeleton. Get out of the AoE. I have a lot of fun running these dungeons solo. There we go, let's crush it. And you can't see past my bird. There we go. Whatever that thing is, the Twilight. So. I think that was the last ad. Alright. Even for me, I'm like mysteriously forgetting how that battle turned out, but... So, if you're a tank, what I'm about to do is how I recommend tanking this boss, Death's Head. Lure him back here in this corner. So when he does his run, you have him in a controlled environment. So right now I'm bottlenecking him inside my AoE, inside a place where he can't run very far. So this is what you call a controlled battle, because I'm keeping him controlled right here in this corner without the assist of a tank. Say hello to my little friend! Die, Bone Boy! I just love doing that. Well, that was definitely a good use of time. Oh, so here's where I find a heavy sack. So, walking across this plank is the only means to get over there, and if you fall off, oh, you definitely die. So I definitely don't like crossing over here, but sometimes there's like a lot of goodies in those trunks. You might find recipes and whatnot, but definitely do not fall in the damn hole. It's like, oh my god, you want a no-death run. Alright, look who's coming to meet me. And they brought friends. Pop, 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 pop. Pop, pop, pop. Yeah, think of those guys as your average mall cop, where they're all chasing you with their little taser weapons. Yeah. Alright, so this part here, I think there's never anything over there. I don't even know how to get over there. But this next part I'm definitely gonna skip because we don't need to go through all this trash mob. I mean, you can, but the rewards just isn't good enough, so we're gonna skip that. And then we're also gonna skip the bottom and go right up to the boss and greet the big guy right on his platform. Nobody's following me, which is a good thing. So, introducing Grothdar, the one, the only. Gonna open up with a little burn. Shield up. Shields up. As you can see, we're getting hit by some very high ping again. So as I'm trying to bark off, it's becoming more and more difficult. But the whole purpose of this is building up my ultimate again, so I can do a second phase of burning. Oops. Almost teleported off the side here, son. There we go. Oop, get back in my AoE there, buddy. Look at this. I'm hit by high ping. I can't even move. And the big man finally goes down, even with high ping and lag. That is wackadoo. Like, oh my god. ZeniMax, get a better server, you mofo. And if I was Greek, I would be swearing in Greek right now. Malakias Malaka Busti, one of my stuff at a bana issue. But I'm not Greek, so I have no idea what that means. So anyway, this is where I'm just building up my resources and waiting for the high ping to cool down a little bit before I go through the door and tackle my next challenge in this dungeon. And of course, I think I was talking about something at this point, but I'm not sure what it was because I don't remember. All I know is on the left-hand side, I kept noticing my little scamp-like creature, my little familiar, kept popping in and out, which was telling me that it was definitely suffering from some kind of a lag or high ping. So as you can see, the numbers turn red again, and I'm like way out there, like totally confused as to what was happening with it, but it was quite clear. So at this point, I decided to move on. So so I'm gonna use my shield ability and overcharge, and greet our little friends up here on the stairs. There we go, nice burn right there. Oh look, the welcoming committee. Oh my goodness gracious. It's like you're trying to cast a skill and you can't do it. You're trying to bar swap and you can't do it. It's ridiculous. Keep telling people really should call this Elder Ping Online. Alright, so here we have another mini-boss fight before we go through that door up there, and I buff myself up a little bit. Unleash the dogs of hell right there. At one point, I could swear I heard one of the Daedra in there say, "Oh shoot, it's Raiden from Mortal Kombat." So at this point, I decided to target the ads instead of the mini boss because I'm definitely suffering from way too much lag, so I'm trying to dodge roll and buff myself up. So I can survive that. Because I dropped a single target ultimate down on him, so that helped. So Power Surge is, I use it so I can heal when I do crit, and it helps you definitely survive, giving you that added extra heal when needed. So basically I'm just looking around for like treasure chests and heavy sacks here and there. Sometimes these trunks and or urn may hold like a recipe or something. See, I just got another recipe, so. Yeah, so after a hard battle like that, it's always good to take a little swim to clean yourself off. Get all the dirt and grime and blood off you. And oh yeah, I just noticed I needed to
Anything I can.
sell some of my junk here. It's a good thing I have that merchant, huh? It's ridiculous. At this point I was just viewing that for a second, just see what it was, and I'm like, nah, I don't need it. Get rid of it. It's trash. I have a lot of junk in there. Well, I'll definitely keep that. Huh, what do you know?
Can I help you?
Nope, all set. Thank you. Come again. Really not sure what I'm looking for in there, but whatever. Very interesting, Dr. Jones. Oh, okay, so I was noticing why there was an odd amount of capacity in my my little thing, but writing capacity I have it as 39, and so because when I seen the 9 digit, I'm like, doesn't it do it in like 10 increments, like 10 and 10? But then I realized, so I looked in this page, but I'm like, wait a minute, why am I explaining that to you in the video? So let's just move on. So it was really crazy. Alright, so here we're gonna come to a little drop, just a tiny one. And, but because I'm suffering from some high ping, during the recording of this video. I decided not to do a big poll, so I just kind of like crushed them as I came to it. My strategy is to try to keep them as close to one another as possible. So when my Valken Scoria procs, it'll hit the surrounding enemies within a 5-meter range of its target. Oh, the welcoming committee. Reach out and touch someone. I do believe these guys are really trying to kill me. Oh, was that all? Whatever. I spy with my little eye something round and fugly. Say hello to my little friend. Personally, I just wish that little Atronach lasted a little bit longer. Look, if they just gave us like 10 extra second duration, I'd be happy. Not bad at all. Just clean up these guys and then we'll move on to another boss. So much for the welcoming committee. And that there be the last of them. Alright, are you ready to rock? I'm gonna take Batman over there and send him back to where he came from. Say hello to my little friend! I just really enjoy myself sometimes. That's a little too much. Oh, that was weird. So it looked like I casted my shield twice, but I didn't. And I said that the first time around, but not just during the voiceover. I remember that, because I was lagging out. I hit the button once, but it did it by itself twice. Do a little control burn. Oops, I got stunned on that one. Get buffed up a little bit. For the next damage phase. Oh, just die, animal boy, die! Dear Lord. As I take a look in these little cubby holes or whatever, and I don't find any Any treasure? Nothing there. Oh, fire bad. I noticed my food was about to run out. Alright, so here is where I dodge rolled off this platform. So we're not going to be making that mistake again. Because we are going for a no death run. So I'm just going to jump off, just walk straight forward. Go right down. Ah, my God! And I think I left my stomach back there, up upon the platform. This is so wrong, man. You know when you get these little butterflies in your stomach when you're falling down? Like if you're at an amusement park or something and you're like, oh no, I left my stomach back there, let me go get it. That's me right now. Looks like he zigged when he should have zagged. Hello, ugly. Look. Ugly beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Like, not today, princess. Yeah. Today you are tuna fish. Good night. Where's that welcoming committee? Let's go greet them. What? Are you hitting me or what? Because I don't feel it. I don't feel it. You feel that? Snap! Oh. Oh, poor Chewbacca. I don't know what happened to him. But there's a chest down here, so I'm gonna go get it. Those intermediate chests probably has pancakes and waffles in it, huh? What do they got? Oh, they got a soul gem and a hat that nobody wants. I never did find that last heavy sack. I only found one, so. Well, here we are at the final boss of this dungeon. So. This boss has 2 ultimates, one in and one out. So I'm actually gonna read the scroll and take on hard mode. So his ultimates, one in, one out. So see these glass windows up here? Because I said that the first time. When the glass breaks, you're gonna be inside the bubble. And when he soul summons, you're going to be wanting to be outside the bubble. You know what? I said the same exact thing the first time around, even with the mixed words. So anyway, inside and outside the bubble. So, but we'll take it from there. and see what we can do. But we can focus on him. But when he takes out these, when these ads come up, you're gonna want to burn some or most of them because they will fear you. And if you're under fear, you can die pretty quickly, especially if they fear you in some kind of AoE, which is bad. So let us go ahead and buff ourselves up a little bit, and I think that's what I'm about to do. Yep, so I'm definitely going to use some buff and a shield. And unleash the dogs of hell!
You should never have come
So it's pretty obvious. You can see have quite a bit of lag going on there. So what I'm trying to do is focus the boss, but then turn to the ads, especially the ones doing the fear, so I don't get caught in the AoE. This is, we definitely want to be inside that bubble. So I decided to go with the main bar ultimate as opposed to the back bar single target ultimate because Thunderous Rage, it does quite a bit of damage, and anything inside it is definitely going to burn. Ooh, that is impressive, huh? How far up does that go? Heal, shield, heal, shield. Whoa.
Serve me, never stay dead.
Heal, shield, heal, shield. Next burn phase. That is impressive, isn't it? Just trying to build up my magical.
Okay, pretty much from here we're getting ready for the final phase. Take out the boss.
Nice.
He's gone. He's gone. But nothing's happening. Seems the mad architect's destruction did not allow us to step from this plane. Unfortunate, but we'll have to make do. He mastered this place. Mastered the Daedra
So
somehow.
as you can
Perhaps we
see,
do the same.
with this Magicka
What do we
base
do?
Sorc,
Where do we go?
sorcerer, you can definitely survive just about anything. And so in this video, I'm not just trying to teach my build or my playstyle. I'm also trying to show you that how I'm doing it. You can get a better grasp at the hows and the whys, you know, like why am I using this enchantment? Why am I using this trait? Where am I putting my skill points? How am I allocating my champion points? What food am I using? What potions am I using? What add-ons am I using? So particular that one there for auto recharge is I set it at 41% to auto recharge my staves, my weapons or anything. It comes in quite handy. Once it goes to 0, then you're not getting the full effect of your enchantment. So always keep those weapons charged, of course. Yeah. Hey. Alright, so I went through the weapons and the armor and jewelry and the skill line and in the character sheet. And so what we need to do is I also have all 64 points in my attributes into Magicka. So it's a complete magic build. So trust me, I was talking about something during this whole runaround, but then I forgot what I was going to talk about. So what it was. So, but definitely thank you. I want to thank you all for being patient, traveling through this video with me, and I really appreciate that. And alright, so for food, Solitude Salmon Millet Soup provides max health and Magicka for 1 hour, 6-second cooldown before you can use another one. As for potions, I specifically run this one. I make them myself, or I will buy them in random guilds. Now this Essence of Spell Power, specifically you have to have this one. So be careful of which ones you purchase or create. So if you read the description, you get Major Sorcery, which increases your spell damage by 20% for 36.6 seconds. Grants Major Prophecy, which gives you a little over 2k spell crit for 36 seconds, and restore 7.5 Magicka immediately. It also grants you Major Intellect, which increases your Magicka recovery by 20% for 36 seconds. So that's huge. When you pop that off, you're getting a huge buff just by using that. So that in tandem with one of the skills that I'm using on my back bar, you're gonna be super stronger than what you would normally be without the buff. I think it's a power surge, right? But anyway, if you make them or buy them, I usually make them, but in this case I bought them from a guild with somebody named Cedric. Yeah, so this food and potions. So, hang on a second. Yeah, so again, I want to apologize for having put you through what I'm experiencing with that server lag. Alright, so my skills on the back bar. So I'm running Shock Reach because it's also a damage over time. If you read the description, you deal about 4.8 shock damage, and oh look, I'm also using no crit resist. So this is a PvE build, even though I have taken this up to Cyrodiil and killed like hundreds of other players up there with it. But in any case, back to skills. Sorry, brain freeze. I don't know what I was talking about there, unfortunately. Again, for those of you that just tuned in, I'm going to remind you that when I made the video, I was talking about things, but my mic was off, so I'm actually now re-recording this with a voiceover. Kind of like how cartoons are made. Haha. So anyway, Shock Reach, this is part of your Destro abilities in this skill line. So Destruction Staff, and so at this point, explaining the Matriarch and these Familiar. Especially the Familiar, a lot of I notice a lot of people are making mistakes now, because that little scamp thing, that Familiar, when you get to open up its morph, you can either do another Familiar scamp or a Clan Fear. The Clan Fear heals you, but so doesn't the Matriarch. So really, why have two heals on your bar? Because if you do that, then you're taking away DPS. So having the Familiar set, it says you deal about 3.6 K shock damage every 2 seconds for 8 seconds, which means it's a dot. So anything that's damage over time, it's going to proc your Valken Scoria helmet to go off. So anything does damage over time, so definitely morph it to that. And so Hardened Ward, this is your snap button. This is something you're going to want to have on your bar at all times. You want to keep this up during battles at all times. It's only a 4 or 5 second shield. Really, I mean, I wish it lasted at least 15 seconds, but as you can see here, they're giving you only 6 seconds for this shield for you and your pet, so it absorbs about 20% damage more than Conjured Ward. So but it's capped at 50% of your health. So right now I'm 30,000, so I'm getting like 15,000 protection right there. Alright, so Crushing Shock. Enemies hit while casting are interrupted, set off balance, and stunned for 3 seconds. So always keep that on your bar as well. It's very important. It's a very good skill to have on your bar. This is part of your destruction staff abilities. So Hardened Ward, Crushing Shock, and your 2 pets. These are important to have in that rotation. And your 2 pets, you should also have them on the back bar, because if you don't, then once you swap, both pets are going to disappear. So that's something you don't want to do. So a Wall of Elements, unstable wall. This too is also a dot. Does damage over time, so you're gonna want to have anything to proc. This is what it looks like when I'm casting it and looking at it, and it does this little explosion, but when I cast it, you don't actually see that animation. You just see me slamming my staff into the ground, and it doesn't really look good. I mean, it would look super cool if Cinemax let other people see what you see, but that's what I see when I slam it down. And when you get it and you use it, that's what you're gonna see as well. Yeah. So again, the Familiar, it does damage and damage over time. Crushing Shock, it does a massive amount of damage in triplicate. So you're not just hitting it once, but multiple times. It also has this little perk. And your ultimate, so I'm running Elemental Rage, but I'm using a lightning staff, so it gives you an extra duration per se, because it's only like 6 or 7 seconds that it lasts, but having like a lightning staff, you get extra 2 seconds extra for the duration when you're casting it, which is good because it does a little bit more damage that way, and every little bit helps. So yeah. Where am I going? Okay, so Shock Reach, usually I would run Haunting Curse, but this too is also damage over time. Does about 4.8 shock damage, and then additional 7.6k shock damage over 8 seconds. You also stun the enemy for about 2.5 seconds, which is really good. So it's a mix between this and Haunting Curse, but the only drawback to Haunting Curse is you can only have one Haunting Curse at a time. So I'm just actually waiting for the portion of the video where I'm explaining what I mean as to why you should have this over Haunting Curse. So give it a moment, and it'll make a lot more sense. So this is where I'm looking for Haunting Curse right now. Sometimes I'm confused. I don't know where it is, but I found it. It's in that skill line. So I also went on to talk about this, but this is more like a PvP thing. If you're being zerged down by a lot of players, just locking them in place can really do a lot of damage to people that way. Okay, so Haunting Curse, as you can see, does 9.8 magic damage to the target and 4.8 to targets nearby after 3.5 seconds. But then the curse will continue to haunt the enemy and explode a second time, dealing an additional 9,000 magic damage, and then 4.8 damage to surrounding enemies near the target. But you can only have one Haunting Curse active at a time. It is a very good skill, and who doesn't like explosions, right? I mean, I love explosions. But anyway, you can only have one of these, and that is why I made the decision to go with the Shock Reach. Because you could have more than one active, so I can hit a guy here, I can hit one here, I can hit one here, I can hit one here. I can have a whole bunch of them running all at the same time, and whatever I hit, they are going to get hit with the damage over time mechanic. So which is good because one or multiple castings will definitely proc Valkynscoria. So that's the reason why I chose that one, because not only is it a dot, but it also knocks back the enemy, knocking them down, stunning them in their place. But you can switch in between the two. Your playstyle, what works for you, what's best for you, and how you want to run those. Of course, the ultimates is definitely for a matriarch on the back bar, and on the front bar, definitely the lightning storm cloud for a lot of damage. Power surge, again, you're buffing yourself every time you crit. While it's active, when you crit, you're gonna heal 2.5. So shield, and then use power surge. Shield and power surge. Shield and power surge. I mean, if you can switch, I mean, if you're not suffering from lag or anything, and you have a good rotation, you're gonna want your shield up, and then you're definitely gonna want power surge. This way, not only are you protecting yourself, but you're getting heals off the Hardened Ward, but you're also getting heals off Power Surge. And the bonus to this is you gain all that major brutality and major sorcery, increasing your weapon damage and spell damage by 20% at the same time. So you're a lot stronger using this ability per se. Which is what I was talking about, but it does last a very long time, 33 seconds, and that is huge. That is a good duration. Okay, so streak. This too can be interchangeable. I use it because I get sometimes clobbered by a lot of trash mobs, a massive amount of trash mobs sometimes. So it's always good to run something like that. You can stun the enemy for about 1.5 seconds. Believe me, 1 second, like 1/1000. Like literally 1 second. I mean, that is a fair amount of that's fair game, because that can be your tide changer. So if you're like low on health, low on resources, popping that off to stun someone, and then from far away turn around and do a heavy attack, build up your magicka. This is definitely something you will want to do, because once you start that rotation of heavy attack and you build up your magicka, you can pop off your Hardened Ward, do another heavy attack, and then you get right back into your rotation of either healing yourself or using Power Surge, and regardless, you're definitely going to heal after having Hardened Ward up. But this is a good ability to use. The second recommendation that I would say, if you want to change that out and swap it for something, sometimes I may use something like Liquid Lightning or something like this. A defensive rune. This is a really good skill. Holy smoke. Yeah, so as you can see, you restore your health and magicka instantly on something like that, but what I would use as part of your Desperate Staff abilities, under Elemental Drain, now this is something I recommend definitely if you're in a group, especially a large group like a trial group. And if there's more than one Sorc, just read the description. Also applies minor magical steal to the enemy for 23 seconds, causing you and your allies to restore 300 magicka every 1 second when damage is done, when you're damaging them. And this is a 23-second duration tool. So regardless if you cast it or if another person, magicka person, casts this ability, this skill, you are going to get this buff, and as well as your teammates. So so if you have like 2 Sorcs and one of you are running this, this is a good skill to have on your bar. So if you were to change Streak, I would definitely recommend using this one per se. Yeah, so definitely I would use one of those. I mean, you don't even have to be a Sorc. Anybody running a Desperate Staff, if they have it, even a healer. I know on my personal healer that I have, I run both Destro and Resto Staff on my healer. I do it that way because my healer is very powerful, but that's not part of this video right now. So yeah, so passives in each of these skill lines is very important. You're gonna want to open them up, especially your racial skills, and if you're using a lot of abilities like the Destro Staff, definitely open up all the passives. They're very important to get those buffs and that extra power and resources. So one thing I haven't touched base yet, for the end of the video, I will end on this note for champion points. So what I do know about champion points is what I'm about to teach. So, tiers. There's 3 tiers. Blue is damage, green is for sustain, and red is for your defense skills. So you definitely want to have a lot of champion points in these. So your first one, the tower, I am using 40 and Warlord. So this one in particular reduces the cost of break free. It gives me using 40, allocating 40 champion points, I get about 16% reduction in break free. But as I was explaining in the beginning of the video about the light armor perk, this may change sometime in the future because I'm not really using break free, because I get that extra 20% of breaking free because it's 20% reduction of snares, so you won't need this as much. Is it valuable? Sure. Is it necessary? I feel not as much. So I'm using 24 in the Siphoner because when you light or heavy attack an enemy, it decreases their health, magicka, and stamina, resource, restoration, and recovery. If you notice, a lot of these monsters now, especially like the Daedra, they are using like I want to say Templar abilities where they're self-healing. They're healing their fellow monsters and they're self-healing. Perfect example of that, go run a dungeon called White Gold Tower. That may or may not be downloadable content, but once in there you will see the Daedra definitely use the Templar ability to self-heal, where they do a little prayer thing and they're healing themselves or their compatriots. So using this, this actually reduces that. Not that you need it, but again, I felt it provided a little extra pizzazz, if you will, to burn those self-healing Daedra. And of course this is your first tree, the thief, and the tower. So the next one, the lover, I'm using 75 champion points, and tenacity increases magicka, stamina of your fully charged heavy attack. So when you do a heavy attack, you're getting resources back, which, you know, to help you sustain. So this by 75%, I'm getting 75 champion points. I'm getting 14% increased resource allocation. So Arcanus, again, it's recovery, so I'm getting about 15% magicka recovery by allocating 100 champion points in that specific node, which I felt was important for your if you're running a magicka based sorcerer. I mean, you can also be a Templar and do the same thing, but any character, any tune that you're gonna run, any build that is magic based, this is very important. So your last branch of this tier of the shadow, I'm using 31 tumbling, and this one, which reduces the cost of dodge roll. Dodge roll at some point is very important, especially when you're being targeted by a monster that's charging their weapons. So you definitely don't want to get hit by an arrow or something that's very major, that's either going to stun you, knock you back, or snare you, stun you, or put poison on you, or fear you or something. So definitely dodge roll is a very important mechanic, but it is not used, or doesn't necessarily need to be used at all times. But when you do need it, when it's very important, this is something that you might want to have. 31 gives me about 13% reduction in that cost. So your next tier, the mage, I know I've been calling them trees, but this one here, under the apprentice, I'm using 56 Elfborn, which increases my crit damage and crit healing with magic abilities, and I'm getting about 20% increase. 37 in Elemental Expert, increases Flame Frost Shock magic damage, and gives me about 9% extra. So Spell Erosion, so I'm allocating 27 champion points into that tier, into that specific node. Increases your spell penetration by a little over 2,400. Okay, under still the mage tier, the Atronach, I'm using 75 champion points in Staff Expert. So Staff Expert, it's giving me about 32% increased damage done with my light and heavy attacks for a Destro or a Resto Steve. So Staff Expert is a very important tool. I was at one point using some champion points in Master at Arms and some in Physical Weapon Expert, but I thought after doing a little bit of testing, it wasn't really necessary for that particular, so I moved a little bit more just in Staff Expert to increase definitely the power of the my Destro Staves, which does quite a bit of damage. So anything lower, and there was a decreased damage, so I moved things around, and definitely after putting them into Staff Expert, I felt it was a much more better choice than just leaving some in Master at Arms. But of course, you only have so many champion points. I mean, if you had like 100 extra in each tier, then sure, maybe I would put at least 25 in Master at Arms. It all depends on where the percentage number would round off. So maybe up to boost it up to maybe 5 to 10%. But again, it all depends. I mean, you can play with it and see where you feel comfortable. You can change them. I think it costs about 3,000 gold to change them, like redistribute. So, but I thought these here were very important in tandem with that. And then, last but not least, Thermitage. So any damage over time ability or skill, it's very important that you have a lot in this specific node. I'm using 75, and it's giving me about 23% extra damage, damage done with damage over time effects. So I think this one, if I allocated 25 more champion points, I think up to 100 I think you only get like 25% extra. So 23% was really good. It felt good, and the dots that it was hitting the enemy with, I felt was a pretty fair balance of between damage and damage over time. Last but not least, the final tier, the warrior. Under the steed, I'm using 66 champion points in Ironclad, which reduces your damage taken against direct attacks. So, for example, I was being clobbered by a lot of those zombies in the Vaults of Madness. Even without a shield, those things that were bitch slapping me in the face, this is going to help you survive that. So it kind of reduces the damage taken from something like that. Otherwise, that mob can really dwindle you down pretty bad. So definitely that. Spell shield. Okay, so I'm using 15 in champion points in that specific node, which increases your spell resistance. It's giving me about 1.4k resistance on that, so that's pretty good. That's fair. 15 is all I was able to allocate in that one, after putting things here and there and different nodes. But I felt it kind of balances itself out with the other things that I'm doing in here. So just remember, the blue tier damage, red is for defense, and green is your sustain. So under the lady, I'm using 10. Now I know, I'm laughing, even I'm laughing at this. 10 in the light armor focus. Now just look at it. Increase your physical resistance by 1000 while wearing 5 pieces or more of light armor. So I'm getting a little over 1000 physical resistance by putting 10 in that, because as you've seen in the beginning of the video, I'm using that 5 pieces of light armor. And then on other nodes, I'm using 33 thick-skinned, 37 for hardy, and 37 for elemental defender. So thick-skinned reduces your damage taking from damage over time effects. So if you're standing in like an AoE, ground-based thing, or if you got stricken by poison or befoul, that's good to have. Elemental Defender reduces your damage taken from flame, frost, shock, and magic damage. So 37 champion points, giving me about a 9% reduction of damage that the enemy can do. Same thing with Hardy, reduces your damage taken from physical, poison, and disease damage. So this Trial in Craglorn, I run a lot on a daily basis, like Ophidia's Sanctum or something, or Sophidia something. I know it's SO, either NSO or VSO, but SO. Yeah, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything about this game off the top of my head. Come on, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning for me right now. So anyway, yeah, so if you're getting hit by poison, especially if you're a werewolf, and you're definitely going to get hit by poison, this is something good to have to help protect you from that poison, so you're not getting burned, because that's something you definitely don't want to do. But hey, I mean, if you're running a Sorc, who cares, right? You got shields. shields takes care of everything. But definitely it's a good perk to have. And we come to our final tier. So using 56 in Bastion, which gives me 20% increased effectiveness of my damage shield. So using hardened ward, yeah, it's really giving me an extra boost there for my damage shield. I know what you're saying. The next node is quick recovery, 16. I wasn't really sure where to allocate the remaining 16 points that I have, because the percentages, they do not round off. So anything after the decimal, it might as well be a 0. Like this, for example, 20.15. I'm still only getting 20. Doesn't matter if it said 20.50, 20.75, 20.99. I'm only getting 20. So regardless. So nothing fit, nothing really equalized out. Nothing that I wanted to balance out, to overbalance or overcompensate on. So I dumped it in here, which is giving me a 4% increase healing received. So when I'm running my shield, I'm getting, and my shield is healing me because for some strange reason it also heals you when you're getting hit. I'm getting an extra 4%. So same thing when you use your Twilight, when you cast its special ability the second time after summoning the Twilight, you heal and 2 other people heal. So this is where I'm telling you. So even if I put one more in here, that 9.9% increases to 9.27. It is still considered only 9%, because it does not round off to the highest number or lowest number. It's whatever is before the decimal, that's the number that you get. So yeah, that's why I put 16 in quick recovery, just to get that 4% in healing received, which sometimes can make the difference between what type of healing that you're getting and what you're not. Well, hey everyone, that said, I definitely want to thank you all for watching today's video. I hope I was able to teach some of you the ways of my build, why I have certain things in certain places to, you know, so I went over my weapons, my armor, my jewelry, the traits, the enchantments, the skills, and for the most part what skill line they come from, the passives that you should definitely have open. My attribute points, that I'm using all 64 in Magicka. I'm using a high elf as a as my race for this build, and we pretty much went over the champion points. What they do, what the tiers are, what they represent. So it gives you a better idea of, I know, because there's a lot of confusion of the champion points and what they actually do. But somewhere on the internet there is like a little tutorial guide that helps you understand what it is that they do. But like I said, this particular is the build that I'm running based on my gameplay style. Again, yes, I am a PC man, and there's only a few, not many, but few games that I will play keyboard and mouse per se. Oh, for the boon, I am using the mage. So sorry, did not mention that before. But this particular one, I feel more comfortable using a controller. For this particular game, I feel more comfortable being relaxed playing it. Elder Scrolls Universe, I have always been just roleplay, and I've enjoyed the leisure time of leisurely doing whatever it is the hell I want to do, right? So, but again, really do appreciate your time and your patience going through this video with me, and I do apologize once again for the POS server that's based in Texas from ZeniMax, because they really are a POS, and naturally for me, I'm like smack dab in the middle of the ocean between two continents, and so it's very hard for me to play this game when there is a massive amount of people now playing, and unfortunately they're using this, they being ZeniMax, they're using a company called Akamai. Now I don't know how long they've been in bed together for, but for the 4 years that I have been playing, I've been playing with very low ping. I've been reaching their server, no problems whatsoever, until September of 2018, and then lag, disconnect, high ping, lag, and disconnect. And it's been brought to my attention that after doing some research and communicating with other people, that I'm being bottlenecked by a company named Akamai. Well, again, everyone, thank you so very much for going through this video with me, and I hope so the description of everything that I'm running on the build, and then the actual testing, such as in Craglorn and Skyreach, and then actually going through a dungeon on Vet, and then on hard mode, so you can see that this build is really good. Appreciate it. So until next time, we'll see you again. Bye now.